Opportune disruption.
She spreads the laundry across the clothesline. The sheets flap in flight toward the windy sky. Distant dusk.
At the start of the evening, the very air is shaking from the gong. You are perhaps still in the water, in the warmth of the evening, or coming out of the shower, still shaking the water from your ears. Then comes the gong. Acute distraction.
Sitting on the bench, his legs spread apart, he looks down at the sidewalk between his shoes. Frank necessity.
Your heart skips a beat and begins shaking from this monstrous vibration. But it's only the start. For several blows rain down on that huge gong, shattering with their clamor the calm of the evening. You do not even know that it is a gong. Clandestine doubt.
Still 1 hour left before dismissal. She turns her gaze toward the open window. Free mutation.
You think of an alarm. Perhaps you are shaking from memories of an alert one distant evening. With your life just at its start. Discolored tonality.
The lake in the dream was milky and smooth, something menacing, obscure in the foreground. Submissive stability.
You end up crossing the space, making up this evening, and which separates you from the source of your unease, that calm. You say to yourself that you should have understood right from the start. Gushing vacuity.
It's raining. It rained. It will rain. He walks head down, just a passenger, under the rain. Transparent torrent.
How childish I was. How stupid. To stand there, shaking. Acute contraction.
To do housework is to erase it all. Dirt, smudges, the idea of mortality. Dense, darkening.
At the start of the evening, the very air is shaking from the gong. The simple and unambiguous signal that it's time for a cocktail. Clandestine doubt.
The siren jingles. It's an ambulance. In this traffic, someone is going to die. Uncertain ease.
This din perfectly plays out its role as a signal underlining each day the anxiety at this very time before night comes. With the arrival of the urge for a cocktail. Somber convergence.
In front of the sink, standing up, hurry and swallow the antidepressant tablets. Strewn clarity.
Desires awaken, and remorse too, at that time, whose power, or else meaning, seems seems as simple as the creeping yet plain wish to have a cocktail, taken either with a smile or a sigh, its very self the signal of an irresistible process that pushes you towards a second cocktail. Intense twitch.
A teardrop takes shape between the eyelids, then bulges, then slides down the length of the cheek. Limpid stream.
Even when speaking, you think through a moment without time about the future, the past, and elsewhere from which you'll rise a signal of regrets for a childhood you thought to be fine and simple, or hopes for success. The success that will signal the fact that we can now laugh over a cocktail. Troubled bitterness.
She opens the door, walks into the room, turns on the overhead lights, sees the bodies. Immutable separation.
Yes, that your life is your own, overflowing, sure, and simple like the soft clash of ice cubes clinking at this time. A signal, simple and lugubrious, that it is time for a cocktail. Though pointless for any regular, especially on those days when the rain has already filled the Sphinx with its collection of regulars. Broken barrier.
Withered autumn leaves slide around on the tombstones and fly at the legs of passers-by. Blazing mount.
All, without exception, are just thinking of days of fine weather, yesterday and tomorrow. It won't last, this rain. It's just a light shower. Entire latitude.
He holds the lighter, offers her the flame, while caressing her cheek with his fingertips. Remarkable drop.
And yet there are days when such remarks ring hollow. It's pointless to pretend when faced with the persistence of this monotonous rain without a glimmer of the sunshine that otherwise is so regular, except sometimes in the evening on the far side of the rain. This rain, how unseasonal can you get? convergence.
With the tip of his nail, he tries to root out the fiber of steak caught between his teeth. Compact dimness.
No one was expecting to rot in this stinging, aimless resentment which nothing dilutes. Not even faith in the fine weather's coming back. And the sea perseveres and spits on a hope that is hardly hope. Reticent sketch.
He swipes the glasses off his head and throws them out of the window and into the streets. Scattered sunshine.
People were expecting this. Opening the window on a sea where day after day a breeze with no sting sketches out just trembling wrinkles, hardly seen in a constant light that no cloud dilutes. Compressed distress.
He did not really grasp what just happened. Like that, the plate was in pieces on the ground. Immediate succession.
Regret is now felt at having taken such hardly bearable lodgings. The shutters closed to obscure that sea through a gray gleam which the rain dilutes. Momentary verticality.
In his dream, he is following a strange woman. She wears uneven high heels and limps. Emancipated conversion.
Alone, even before the gong, a straight whiskey with its sting hardly diluting the sting of the sea. Narrow pain.
Kites by the hundreds. The child sees the sky as if it were a roof trembling with colors. Nearby, daybreak.
It is an evening of wind, thunder, and rain. Through her window frame, tiny traces of rain seep in, rammed by the wind, suddenly propelling an abundant rain unwanted by man or grass, no more than the thunder making you jump like a child, or the wind almost drowning out the gong that evening. Strange coincidence.
A laugh that bursts forth, acute as a scream, the yelping of a creature caught in a trap. Crimped flow.
It is an evening of rain, thunder, and wind. This blow hits her like a mallet beating a gong. It jumps at her like a mugger's blow, whipping her up like a whisk beating eggs, making her forget the din of the gong. Ordinary difference.
He holds the pencil with his tongue stuck out, draws a hanging body with its tongue stuck out. Attractive. Wait.
Air, water, thunder form a single beating to bring her outside into the lightning, and then after all this run head down, hugging herself towards the gong whose quivering subsides after the final blow. Lost in the grayness of the air, the shimmer of the gong. Outside, not a single stray, not a single heart beating on the sand. Hesitant draft.
Putting the live crab in boiling water, she catches the terrified look of a child. zealous spirit.
Then inside, everyone seems oddly blow-dried, or indoors since noon. But there is more than just this. She's come to a halt before a young barman mixing a blow pop, when a voice, low and vibrant as a gong, rings in her ears. Dilated pleasure.
Adenoma of the liver, says the doctor. How do you not have another drink? Changing alliance.
She wasn't expecting this. Not so soon. Shaken up as she is by that celestial beating. For she is this gong. It rings in her ears. She wasn't expecting this. Not so soon. Provisional aplomb.
Between the thumb and the index, she rolls with nervous fingers a wisp of her own hair. Partial eviction.
For she is this gong. Under the beating blow, and that voice plunges into her. That voice plunges into her like a Boeing 747 into the sea. Obsequious completion.
He seals the door and all the windows with adhesive tape before turning on the gas. Penetrating erosion.
It's like on the telephone. A voice can do wonders. She says that to herself before looking around. She pictures herself in a Boeing aircraft 2 miles above a distant sea, invited to try the controls by the charming captain who is guiding her with his expert hands. Faded nuance.
She reaches her arm out of the toll booth to give change to all of the vacationers. Heavy heat.
She starts falling. She plunges and turns around. Behind him stretches the dark beach, the raging sea. She glances at him, sees his eyes on her, then turns away in a tumult greater than that of the sea. Restrained shore.
Together they drink water from the tap, their lips just barely touching, their eyes teasing. Ponderous warmth.
Her thorax quivers like the cowling of the Boeing aircraft, where she would happily be right now. Poor fool, her inner voice says. What a hick. Or in Sydney, or Tampico, as she plunges her arms into a sink. Gradual west.
He has not come home. She is beginning to worry. The clock says 8 in the morning. Voluntary hindrance.
She pulls herself together, or does her best to pretend to, then stares. She stares at him again, against the sea, the window, the others. He smiles, and she does too. He plunges his gaze into hers. He's like a Boeing aircraft falling. sustained opposition.
She throws the paper, sticky and corkscrewed, with all the flies glued to it, into the fire. Heavy heat.
It's like a Boeing aircraft. And with her on it, the Boeing aircraft plunges into the sea. Sudden north.
The accident left 21 injured. Aboard the train that collided with a cow. Muddy lake.
It's all just an invitation. Just an invitation to have a cocktail. Young lady, please allow me. This is an invitation which is so classic and direct. Would you care to have something? Outspread enjoyment.
He stops on the stairs. He is winded, white. He takes a handkerchief and mops his forehead. Far away, nightfall.
Something. Have something. The something in question being just a cocktail. Even though she can already think of other things to have. Irrevocable inclination.
Would you please take this, gentlemen?
On the garbage can, a pair of kids' shoes, brand new, which he slips gently into his bag. Indolent lethargy.
This madness that has suddenly gripped her must just be the effect of her loneliness. She should concentrate on the cocktail now and nothing else. Quite simply, this banal invitation for that cocktail. Definitive obliquity.
In the room, he puts down his suitcase and lies on the bed without removing his shoes. Cramped slide.
The weather's so rotten. How about a little cocktail to cheer you up? She has to make up her mind to have it or not. And at once, ordinary difference.
The first time she is required to speak in public, she loses her voice altogether. White whirlwind.
Why is this invitation putting her in such a state? It's nothing much. It's just a passing distraction for this man. It's an easy invitation. He's only thinking vaguely about what might happen after this cocktail. Steep gulf.
When he arrives at the office, he tells the typist to bring him a cup of coffee. Precarious forests.
Disconcerted, she says, "Sorry, it's nothing. Just something I've forgotten, and which I'd really like to have." Accessible summit.
She is walking on the tips of her toes to avoid the noise of her high heels clacking. Insignificant tide.
She tries to fathom this simple invitation to have a cocktail. This simple invitation to have something that she would like. Something. Abrupt precipice.
The glass partitions at the bank assure total transparency of operations. Side reel authenticity.
Something she would like. And for refuge from that something, she flees. She flees toward the sea. Arid projection.
He is stuttering, his tongue thickening, the feeling of paper mache in his mouth. Imposing leak.
She is in a panic and so flees blindly towards the beach and the sea. She cannot name the danger from which she now flees, although she knows that the sole danger for her lies within her, and that it is not in this wild sea that her demons will be able to take refuge. Clammy recess.
She takes off her blouse, folds it, and slides it very carefully into the plastic bag. Unmovable desert.
And yet her demons find their reflection in the sea that wraps itself around her. The light flees away toward the horizon, hazy in the grayness, to take refuge far from the heavy, implacable night, bringing for one and all a desire to take refuge from the wind, the rain, and the dark. Dried relief.
She finds her oldest son, 15 years old, curled in a ball in his little brother's bed. Changing alliance.
She goes towards the sea with an unstated desire to grasp the for and the against of it all. And why she now flees for a refuge far from the sea, drenched from the spasms, whipped up by the wind, which has drenched her with each blast, with spasms and frissons, even though it's rain from a summer wind. Destructive note.
In the basic course in rifle training, the target's shape is a human silhouette. Fluctuant union.
She knows in her bones that spasms of fear are marking her more than the effect she feels physically from the wind and the rain. It would almost be a delight to get drenched by all that the distant, noisy sky can throw at her, with its rain and its wind just like in the movies, by the spasms of thunder. Structural obedience.
Immediately after kissing her, he runs to the wash basin to wash his mouth. Terrestrial simulation.
It even makes her want to feel drenched by that night's tango. And just then she feels that her choice has been made, and she has emerged like iron still drenched, light too, light and supple as the rain. But she needs to get changed. She feels it like a pressing need, even though her own spasms of panic have vanished into the spasms of the rain that have left her drenched. There is one thing she still feels. What she wants is melting. Melting like ice into a cocktail, or like melting into that nocturnal tango. Melting into the two storms that have made her as cold as an ice cube down her spine, and will now warm her up as the spirits in a cocktail. And if, floating on its surface, she feels the cold of the ice cube, it will just slow down the warmth she is accepting. And wants, and wants, and wants to find why not in that pivotal cocktail offered by a stranger, melting with just a hackneyed word, simply by saying cocktail, simply by saying cocktail. Her whole being, which she wanted to be as pure and hard as ice, glinting intact in January sunlight. Yes, melting her. Then let the world think. Let the world think whatever it wants. Submerged integrity.
Each night, at the same time, the sound of a piano. Nobody knows where it comes from.
Fixed.
Rupture. Animated.
Juncture.
Dismal.
Neat.
Boom.